Hello guys and welcome back to another class of our course about the complete introduction to programming with JavaScript. So in today's class we are going to have a basic introduction to this programming language and simply talking about what exactly it is. So it's a completely theoretical class where we're going to talk mostly about JavaScript itself. So this way you guys will understand what exactly is this programming language. So let's start. Alright, so the basics of programming in JavaScript. So the first question that everybody will ask, is asking right now is where can we find JavaScript? So before learning how to work with a programming language, you guys want to know where it can be found and how it can be used. So JavaScript is a really popular programming language. And it's mostly used for applications that are developed, that are web-based and for different web browsers. But it's also can be used not only for those purposes, but for other purposes. So for example, it can be used, beyond the web in softwares, servers, and being the hardware controls. So as I said, there are plenty of things that you can do with JavaScript. So some examples of things that you guys can do. So you can, for example, display a timer on a website. You can play audio and video on a web page. You can play with the colors, so basically creating buttons and changing colors of buttons, as well as plenty of other things. So is JavaScript a good programming language to learn as a first programming language? In my opinion, yes, of course, it is a pretty good first programming language to learn. I personally started with Python, but it all depends what exactly you guys want to do. So if you want to create web application or mobile applications, JavaScript could work, because if you didn't know, it's possible to create mobile applications as well. So you can use various JavaScript frameworks to develop and build web and mobile apps. So it's really used for web and mobile apps. You can also use it to build web servers and develop various server applications. And it even can be used for game development. So as you can see, JavaScript is a pretty interesting programming language. So those are pretty much the things that you can do when you know how to program with JavaScript. Once again, you will not be able to do all this once you finish this course. So pretty important to know that you will understand how to program with this programming language. But to be able to do really advanced things, you will need to have a lot of practice. So it's pretty important to take this into consideration. So why learning how to program in JavaScript? So first thing is nowadays, programming in general is really something that is not that it's something that is trendy, but actually it's something that is really present in our everyday life. So personally, I think that you guys should know at least one programming language. As I said, me personally, I started out with Python, but JavaScript could be a pretty good first programming language. And knowing how to program in one programming language is pretty good, because after that, learning the other programming languages can be pretty simple. And JavaScript is not really complicated to learn. So this brings us to our second point. It's very beginner friendly. So JavaScript is a beginner-friendly programming language. It's not that complicated, once again, to learn it. So really understanding the logic behind this programming language is pretty simple. Once you get that logic, you can simply apply it to create more complex applications. So the way you create basic applications is pretty much, I can say it's 100% the same thing that when you create huge applications, but it works pretty much the same way. So when you have huge applications, you will crop them into small pieces and actually work on each piece. And it's like working on a lot of small applications, and then you put them all together and it creates a huge application. So to be able to do all this, it's really important for you guys to be able to learn how to, to learn the logic of programming. So this brings us to our last point. So actually learning JavaScript will teach you the logic of programming. In other words, you will learn how your code should be structured. And when you're programming, the structure is really important because you can't put something in front of something else and expect the same result. Because once again, there is an order that you guys need to respect. When you use a statement, for example, there are some things that you need to follow. So there are some rules that you need to follow. And when you understand all those elements, you will be able to learn to think like a programmer. This is how I like to call it. Because once again, to be able to program, you need to understand this logic. And once you are able to do it with one programming language, you will be able to do it with any programming language. So you'll see the structure pretty much stays the same. So when you're programming in Python or C++, Java, JavaScript, the structure of the programming language itself stays pretty much the same, but you have just some differences between each programming language. So the differences, yes, you have some differences. Once again, once you learn one of those, you will be able to more simply learn the others. So I hope you guys right now have a basic understanding of what exactly is JavaScript and why this is a pretty interesting programming language to learn. So that's it for this class, guys, and see you all in our next class.